back to the middle. All right. Happy Wednesday. Yes. Wednesday, everybody. We have a short week this week, so this actually isn't really the middle of the week. This is kind of like our Thursday. We're going to have Good Friday off this week, so hopefully you guys are excited for a short weekend, or a long weekend, shorter market week. Had that backwards there. And just definitely expect probably some lower volume tomorrow, especially as Easter weekend is coming upon us. Probably a lot of travel, probably a little bit less volume in the markets. So I'll probably draw back from using too much size. It looked like even today a little bit, the volume's dried up a bit. But we are still seeing the SPY holding over 400, which is good news. We're at a pretty major trend I think it really needs to break out over in order for us to see that really strong continued momentum. If not, I think it needs to, ideally if it dips, hold that 400 level roughly, or the high 390s, and then test for another breakout for that potential momentum. In other news, though, we did have a really big dump on AI because of a short report that was put out on Monday morning, I believe, and the stock is now down. It was down 15, or actually it might have been down 25% yesterday, I want to say, and now down another 15 or 20% today. Really, really smoked that thing. So we'll get into all this. I had a really good Monday and a pretty rough Tuesday, and now I'm pretty neutral today as I haven't done too much extra here, but we'll hop on into the charts, and yeah, let's just get on looking at these. All right, so first I'm going to look at JWEL. This is one from today that was moving kind of out of nowhere. I actually caught this from 21 cents right down here. I was long at 0.212, and I sold, unfortunately, extremely early. I sold everything at 29. I figured that was still a really nice run, and then it ran up to 57. So that was a nice move, but I'm glad I caught a little part of that. It got really tough because it just kind of went straight up, which is a problem with some of these movers I'm seeing right now, is that they just move up once, and that's kind of the only opportunity. And those make for really, really difficult trades because, again, it just makes the entry really, I don't want to say impossible, but you almost have to chase. So when I see markets like this, where this is really all that's moving, yeah, there's a decent little spot here at 41. But when that's really all that's moving, it makes it really tough for me to want to take a lot of size on anything. And if I don't really want to take much size on anything, it makes me think, all right, is it even worth putting too much effort into trading right now? Now, again, a lot of this is because, in my opinion, because of what happened here on AI. I will take a look at this little 5-day chart. You can just see how bad that got drained out. And I think AI was really going, in my opinion, going to be what got us some market momentum, a hot sector, something we haven't seen in a long time. The last real big sector run was oil. And even oil back in March or April of 2022, that still wasn't a sector that got overly hot because after Indo, after HUSA, after IMPP, CEI, all those, after those bounced, like nothing really came out of it. Whereas when I think back to Bitcoin, or I'm going to switch over back to me for just a second here. When I think back to Bitcoin and EV and, some of these more recent ones, even marijuana, they would they would spark these subsectors that would move with it. EV turned to lithium, turned to battery plays, turned to et cetera, et cetera. And I think AI is one of those technologies that really has that potential to do that, right? To stem into so many different subsectors, that can get moving because they can benefit from AI. I'm not saying that I think, right now I'm still long-term. I think AI has potential to be a big sector leader. Maybe not even just that stock. Maybe there's another one that comes up, but I think it has the potential to be a great sector. That just might not be the one, especially with that short report. I am still extremely excited about it in the near future because it's just developing so fast that I think there's a lot of room for opportunity. But anyways, let's get back into some other charts. I want to go over some trades that I actually took here, around the AI sector that I did really well on. BBAI is one of those. That was one that I'm really, really happy with how I traded this. I got long on my initial starter at $2, 201. I'm sorry, on this break here. And I rode that the entire day Friday. Rode it all the way up to 250s. Then it gapped up slightly. I entered for an original dip and rip to add to that size here at 250. And then, of course, it dipped a bit more, and I added it 236 right here. And then a few more times in the 270s and 280, or my last ad here was in the 270s, I believe. And then sold some up in the 304, 307 range, and then the rest on the dump at $3. So I was really hoping that if AI really, really got cranking, right, which, there was a part of me that thought it could, that BBAI could run to, maybe even 4 to 5 or potentially break out if AI had went to like 50 or something. But I did rebuy another 5,000 shares here at $3 at close. And then just sold at 304 pre-market after it started dumping after that short report came out. So that was still a really great trade. That was my first 5-figure trade in a while. So I think I actually ended up like exactly $10,100 on that after all was said and done. But it was a really nice win. And unfortunately, AI dumping yesterday did hurt me because I tried to bounce GFAI at one point. I tried to bounce AI, and I tried to bounce it a few too many times. I really didn't think it was going to have that big of an impact. But I had a pretty big red day yesterday, still up and everything. I didn't lose all that $10,000, but it was a rough day and definitely one that got me thinking back to myself, all right, time to slow down, kind of bring back some focus here and just wait again. Because I think AI, in my opinion, was one that could heat up the market enough to get some really consistent multi-day movers. And at this point, I just don't see that in the cards. But I still, see some movers like this, some day ones, this LMNL that gapped up today. Had a couple decent opportunities on it. A really weird mover though, and it's only up because of like a potential buyout at like $7.50, but it's not even official. So like these weird little news pieces might make some movers like this, but so far not seeing. Oh, actually there was BURU this morning, BURU, which actually might bounce a little bit, but it's so far under VWAP at this point. I had this big news this morning. It runs from 3 up to 8, and then it just kind of dumped down. It's so far under VWAP. It could bounce maybe up to the 570s. I just don't see it being anything crazy. I don't know if I see this going back over high a day or anything. I did have a trade on this morning though. I got long at 540, I think 542, and I sold up into the 620 push. I didn't see this. The way that it had trapped in the morning, it had trapped a few times, right? And I'll break that down, just kind of what I was seeing for some of these day one gappers that I do trade. We have this fake breakout, right? So you have a fake high day break that leads to a low a day break. But then that low a day break turns out to be a fake low a day break as we consolidate here. And we broke out over that consolidation level over the previous low a day. So we had just trapped like way too many times on both sides already where this didn't seem like one that was super bullish if it broke out, because it already had that high a day trap and got out probably a lot of early longs. This was a pretty big dump candle, as were these. So it just didn't seem like one where I wanted to stay in too long. And that's unfortunately how I feel about a lot of these day one gap up stocks. They're tough unless the market is really hot, but there are scalp opportunities on them in the morning. Now, the last stock that I'm keeping a really close eye on here over the next few days, next few weeks is DWAC. And that is because, did we find out what the correct term is? It is indictment or indictment. I don't know. There's a difference between the two words. And I've heard them both in the news. Or he's been indicted, but it is an indictment. I think that sounds about right. I have not been following up on this too much. However, I do know, that I think as of yesterday, he was charged with 34 felonies, pled not guilty. Whatever comes out of that is anyone's best guess, right? No one can predict the future, what's actually going to come out of this. However, anytime that Trump's name is in the news, we do tend to see a run on DWAC. It's happened just about every time. And DWAC, by the way, is the SPAC that is trying to take Truth Social public. Truth Social is Trump's company. And every time he's in the news, and especially when he's doing well in the news, obviously, any kind of criminal charge isn't great, but his support has certainly rallied. His campaign they say has benefited from it. I think in the news I was reading on DWAC, I believe Trump's campaign raised like $8 million off of that, right? So like it's stuff like that that may actually, that bad news may lure some early shorts while the stock is, at near all-time lows, and then actually create a mini squeeze, right? So we see these gap ups when his name is in the news. It's not unrealistic to see some range on this. And it did it, the time before. If Truth Social can benefit from this, we'll see. But I think it's something that with him being so big in the news right now and knowing how, kind of Trump's used past bad press releases to try to spin it positive, could lead to something here for DWAC. And it is certainly interesting that over the past few weeks since all this has started, there has been some very clear interest here, right? Some very clear consolidation. Attempted breakout failed so far, but this could be another one of those things, right? Where there's really not a whole lot of attention on it yet. So these levels aren't overly meaningful. And so if it kind of had a few fake breaks here while someone's accumulating a position, I'm definitely keeping an eye on it. That's all I'm saying. The key level for me is definitely going to be that 15 and 16 area, but it's consolidated relatively well without too many major dumps, but it consolidated down here in the 16s for quite a while, 15s and 16s. So it's understandable. It sees a lot of resistance there, but I think if we got over like a 16 or 17 break, we could see a move up to, the low to mid 20s, which could be a really nice multi-day mover. So I'll definitely be keeping a close eye on that. But other than that, I'm waiting for AI to do its thing. I want there to be some very clear stabilization or growth in some sector before I get really over aggressive. And without that, I don't want to be trading all day. I don't want to be sitting here, especially after yesterday's loss. It kind of reminded me. It was a little bit of a wake up call. Like, you don't need to be there in the middle of the day. Go enjoy the day when the market is not hot, when there's not a lot moving, and really get prepared for when the market is hot, which is what I did really well Friday going into Monday when the market was kind of hot for basically 2 days. So I know I can get prepared for that. I just don't want to get overly drained. So I'm going to be just waiting and watching and being patient. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, enjoy the short trading week. Enjoy the long weekend. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you drop this video a like if it helped you in any way or if you enjoyed it. Make sure post notifications are on and give me a comment down below on what you think about AI. Do you think this will be another sector run, or do you think that everything in the news with Trump right now could affect DWAC stock? Let me know down in the comments your thoughts, and I'll see you on the next episode of Small Cap Recap. Peace. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for being a part of the Stocks to Trade family. We just hit 100,000 subscribers, but our goal by the end of this year is to get 150,000 new family members a part of our channel. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, comment down below, hit the subscribe button, and maybe even turn on your post notifications. We cannot do this without your guys' support. So thank you so much. And if you want to see more of what we're doing, again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment down below. We'll see you in the next video.